She pushes the old man, who is her father, down and rubs her shoe against his clothes to clean it. Then she says, "Come on, Dad, sit in the taxi." The old man stands up and says, "The books got stuck in my clothes." The daughter says, "All right then, I'm leaving because I'm getting late." She leaves in the taxi. The old man keeps calling after her. The next moment, another daughter comes and says, "Dad, didn't you go to my sister's graduation ceremony?" The old man says, "These books got stuck in my clothes, that's why I couldn't go." The second daughter cuts her father's clothes to separate the books and says, "Come on, Dad, we will reach the ceremony." The second daughter and the old man leave. A few minutes later, the taxi driver says, "Miss, you shouldn't have left your father behind. And this is my experience. Children who do not value their parents, life takes revenge from them." Long ago, the driver ties a safety rope with a heavy stone and sits in the cart saying, "Hurry up, Dad, otherwise I'll be late for my graduation ceremony." The father pulls the cart and reaches the other side. The driver gets down. Because of the safety rope tied to the stone, the father gets trapped in the water. The driver says, "Now you will die here. I don't ever want to see you poor people again." The water sweeps the father away. The very next moment, the driver's sister passes by, sees the empty cart, searches for her father, and pulls him out of the water to take him home. A few minutes later, the director says, "Today we present a degree to our best student with best wishes." The driver receives her degree. A few minutes later, the sister is sweeping the floor. The boss comes and says, "You work regularly and with dedication. Today you should also apply for our assistant's vacancy." The sister says, "I will definitely apply." The boss leaves. The very next moment, the driver arrives and says, "What are you doing here?" The sister replies, "You pushed our father into the river and now you are not even giving us money to pay the bank loan." The driver says, "Shut up, I've come here for a job. No one should know that you are my sister. I don't want to see the faces of floor sweepers like you." The boss had heard everything. The boss comes and says, "I heard it all. That's why I cannot give you the job, because you are not sincere even to your own family. Instead, I will give this job to your sister." The driver says, "I will get a job somewhere else." She leaves. A few days later, the driver goes to a taxi owner and says, "I am unemployed. Please hire me as a taxi driver. I will be grateful." The owner says, "All right." The driver explains, "Because of not valuing family, I have been humiliated a lot." A few minutes later, the professor says, "I request all directors to clap for our best graduate." He gives the daughter a certificate. A few minutes later, a director comes and says, "Congratulations, we offer you a job at our hospital." The daughter says, "It's a matter of joy for me." At that very moment, the old man comes and tries to hug his daughter. The daughter stops him and says, "Mr. Director, I think there's some misunderstanding." She pushes the old man aside and says, "Don't embarrass me here. I don't want anyone to know that you are my family." The old man says, "I work so hard to make you professional." The daughter says, "Whatever it is, I don't want to see your face." The director comes and says, "You cannot progress at all, only because you are insulting your father. I thought you were a compassionate person, but you are cruel. I cannot give you this job. Instead, I will give it to your sister." The daughter says, "But she hasn't even graduated yet." The director says, "We will give her a job, along with a good educational scholarship." The second daughter hugs her father and says, "We got all this because of you. I value your hard work. You are our superhero."